People deluded. I've just watched Hoffenheim versus Leipzig. Emil Smith Rowe wasn't involved in any capacity. Reiss Nelson came on in the last 10 minutes. Obviously was disappointed at that. Didn't think he'd come on. It was a 1-1 draw for people that must know. Literally Leipzig scored within the dying embers of the game. Is it Stefan Posch? I can't say his name, the centre half. I think I've seen him make a lot of errors. He's made an error against Schalke last year. He didn't have the best of games against Jadon Sancho when Dortmund played them, but I feel in three at the back, he was superb, and he's one I'm going to keep my eyes on a bit more on the Austrian the young Austrian international. So yeah, obviously Canute was there. I feel Canute had a so-so game, but yeah, man, Reiss Nelson came on with 10 minutes to play. At one point, it looked like, I don't say the game was wrapped up because I feel Hoffenheim didn't take their chances and Leipzig were quite poor. But he came on with 1-0 at 1-0 with Hoffenheim being 1-0 up, and they didn't see it out really. Hoffenheim sit 8th. They didn't win today, so they shot themselves in the foot of possibly drawing level with people that are 7th and things. So yeah. From an Arsenal point of view, selfish point of view, it's not been the best start of the years for Reiss Nelson, and it's a learning curve for me. Of course, I want to see him playing week in, week out, 90 minutes until he can't play anymore, or it's not wise to play him. But this is a learning curve. I personally, without knowing everything, I still don't feel he's yet to fully earn Nagelsmann's trust. He's a young player. He's shown initial promise. He can score goals and things like that. But whatever he's not shown on the training ground or in matches and things like that, I don't think Nagelsmann trusts him to be able to see out games, to be able to start with him and things like that. And he's still learning. It's a good experience, but I just don't feel he's fully trusted by the manager, and that reflects the fact that he hasn't played 90 minutes since October. He hasn't completed 90 minutes since October. I feel the loan has made him a stronger player, and it's been a positive loan. But when you look at stuff like that on the basis of playing, hasn't quite happened. He has got strong minutes, and we also need to remember he's working his way back from an injury that kind of disrupted his end of the year, beginning of 2019. He got 20 minutes against Fortuna. He couldn't have got more than 20 minutes against Dortmund. The one, Jadon Sancho stole the headlines for that. He got 10 minutes now. He weren't involved, if I can remember correctly, in the Champions League. Forgive me if I'm wrong, I probably am. But yeah, man, he got 29 or so minutes against Fortuna Dusseldorf as well. But that's not really what you want to hear. We know he's working his way back from fitness to fitness, full fitness, but you want to see him play more. Either way, like I said, people, it's a learning curve. He's a creative player. He can play on either flank, and he can play as a 10, as you lot know, people. But he's come through at Arsenal. He had to control it playing fullback. He had to make the bulk of his 16 appearances at Arsenal so far playing there. He's played all over the place for Hoffenheim and played in a bunch of formations and different contexts. So he's grown as a player. But something is just, for me anyways, it just looks like something is yet to fully earn Nagelsmann's trust, whether that's needing to see an added level in training or added application in matches, a bit more consistency. Maybe tactically he's not the best of fit. So there's either way there's something, or maybe it's just genuinely there's better options and things like that in the side. Either way, there's something he could be doing better, and there's something for him to work on and learn, and that's what we're here for him to come back as a stronger player, because people think it's A to B. I keep telling people, Reiss Nelson's a bad boy footballer, and I want him to feature next season. I want him to feature now, and I support him all the way. I love the guy already, despite the fact he hasn't really played. But people are expecting him to leave as this unpolished young player, go to Germany, which is seen as the utopia for every young player now, and come back as a Cristiano Ronaldo when he scored 42 goals. It's not going to happen. Reiss Nelson, we just wanted him to come back more confident in his abilities, stronger in his belief to play in the first team. Obviously wanting to improve in terms of tactically and technically over 90 minutes, because it's not academy football anymore. It's about 90 points. It's about getting 3 points over 90 minutes. Sorry, me people, but you get the point. Obviously, you want to see him score goals and assists and come back more confident. That's the benefit of it. But he's definitely learned. As much as it's a tough time and it's a bit so and whatnot. This is what he needed. This is way more of an education than playing under 23 football. Obviously, staying under Unai Emery possibly would have picked up some positive traits, might have got more football, might have been directly improved and things like that. But the bulk of his appearances would have come in the cup competitions and possibly at under 23 level. Obviously, we've had injuries and things like that, so you can point to, or you would without a doubt feature on the bench. But I don't blame him for going to Hoffenheim. To be honest, he's grown way more as a player. Initially, he was flying high, but he's learned. He's bound to. If his loan stopped tomorrow, he's learned more than he learned last year under 23 level, because he's been above that level for a while now. So it's been a positive loan spell. I know he's not played the amount of football we want him to play, and it's upsetting for me to a degree. But he's gonna come back a stronger player. He's not gonna be the finished product, but yeah, if he can try and earn fully the trust of Nagelsmann from now till May and play and feature a bit more prominently, then cool. But and what I mean by trust people, obviously he rates him as a footballer, but there's a difference between rating when you're looking on a match day or you're looking at Hoffenheim, which their form at times has been iffy. You're looking on a match day, what players can you rely on? You know you're going to get a base level of performance, people. Clearly, I don't feel Nagelsmann believes he can get some sort of consistency from Nelson game to game, or trust him fully in either must-win games or games they need to go and get 90 they need to get 3 points over 90 minutes, people. Like I said, man, I think it's been a good loan spell. Obviously, you see the success Jadon Sancho's had after initially taking his time to adjust. You would want Nelson to have carried that vein on, and in fact carry on in the same vein in when he actually started the season. And to be honest with you, I told people then, obviously, it was nice to see him scoring goals and the headlines. He's gone to Germany, he's doing his thing. But if he was watching them games more time, he might not have been having the best games he's just scored, or he's come off the bench and scored the goals. When you look beyond the headlines and things like that, similar to how it's completely irrelevant, but how people didn't want to look at the facts or possibly another alternative scenario when Arsenal were 22 unbeaten. When you look beneath the hood and actually look at versus what's the right word? Not bias. What's the word, people? Consensus or whatever the word is, yeah, the typical view. I know you don't know what I'm getting at. Whatever the typical view is, that is viewed, everybody's conventional view versus actually what's what sort of thing. And that's personally, obviously I watch these players so I can give you the content and stuff, but I watch the likes of Reiss Nelson and our players on loan because I genuinely love it. I genuinely like seeing game in, game out how he's possibly improved. I do think he's improved, but consistency, maybe in the final moments when you need to track certain players and not allow certain sequences of play to happen, he can improve in that. But he's come a long way. The main reason this loan spell, regardless, is a W is because he's learned more. He's bound to have learned more at this level than he did last year. Many people will see, obviously, like I said, he was scoring mad goals. Reiss Nelson, you're looking at him, Emil Smith-Rowe, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Foden, all of these special players to possibly kick on to full England internationals and do things at club level. When you're seeing the hype and all of these things and nobody's really speaking about him at Hoffenheim now, people start speaking and start saying mad stuff. Is he overrated? Is he this? Is he that? And that's football fans for you. But people like me have been telling you lot, like, he's still developing. Like, he's a bad boy footballer. Technical ability, can dance past a whole team, can hit free kicks, capable of scoring from 30 yards, link up play. Like, he's the typical street footballer, street cage kid, married with the Arsenal way of playing and someone that's come through the academy. I really like him, but you need to remember these men are still young. And that's the one thing in football. It's ironic because I feel young players keep being told patience, but I do think we need patience. Football fans need patience in all aspects, and that's the one thing in football that you don't have is patience. Look at Leroy Sané, completely different, but many people that writ him off after his tough adapting period in his first 6 months at in England, people were writing him off, calling him a flop, this, that and the third, and now look, they're the first to say Sané's a bad boy footballer. Yeah, man, either way, Reiss Nelson, you're getting little minutes here and there. We know they're not minutes of significance, but at the end of the day, he's fighting against grown men that are fighting to accomplish certain goals for the season and play on match days and playing for new contracts and all of these other sort of things, playing to convince the manager that you deserve to play on a match day, so your performance levels in training need to be up. Like I said, he's still injured. He's still working his way back to full fitness. He has had injuries. But that's better than play, because who would he be competing with at under 23 level? No disrespect to anyone, but he'd be playing game in, game out with Joe Willock and Nketiah. It might even hurt the game time of Saka and Amici, because I believe they would all play. I mean, could you imagine Nelson in the 10 and them two either flanks and possibly Emil Smith-Rowe behind them? It'd be great at under 23 football, but what is any of them learning at that level realistically? Them not playing, them playing possibly harms other people. Like you look at Coyle, you look at John Jules to a degree, different positions, but because people have been moved on and gone out on loan, there's been opportunities open to certain players. You get it, people. Balogun still to kick on in under 23 footballs to get it, but he's getting a look in. Do you understand what I'm going with, people? So it's been a positive loan. Hopefully the next time I do a vid like this, he's played a significant part. I must admit, I didn't think he was coming on, people, but yeah, man, Reiss Nelson, either way, I'm supporting your thing, and I want you to just ultimately return to the club a more confident player in yourself and your abilities to kick on as a footballer, because you're still at the beginning of your career and it's a long time and it's going to be filled with ups, downs, testing periods and all sorts. But this is why you become a footballer and this is why you went out on loan. It's made you grow as a person. People, deluded, thank you for watching. I'm going to get out of your hair on that note.